conversation. It's sort of like a Q&A in that you ask me questions and I answer them. It's nothing like a Q&A in that you are probably not going to get one-word answers. I will answer pretty much anything you ask me. This is a dangerous caveat. I had someone who thought that they were being clever come to one of these and say, "You'll answer anything? Fine. How many yeast infections have you had?" And they got a 10-minute lecture on misogyny. So the answer you get may not be the answer that you desire. Also, because they have me telling animal stories tonight at 8 o'clock, we're not going to do any of the animal questions during this Q&A, because I don't think I can actually do that twice. You should come to animal stories if you want to hear the animal stories. I am assured that they are entertaining. For me, they were usually painful. But they will not be happening here. Also, if you don't ask me questions, I start telling you about my Pokemon. I'm glad to know that I'm in the right room for that. I've had people stare at me and know she would. And I'm like, okay, I am 15th ranked for the state of California. You really want to go? I'm moving to Washington in like 2 weeks. I know. I had to find the local Pokemon League. I have to face the Elite Four. I have to explain to like 20 people that the Elite Four are the 2nd through 5th ranked players in the state, because of course. And that will determine my new ranking for the state. But I'm not going to Worlds this year, and I was really hoping to. Pokemon, it's more complicated than you think. Yeah. So ask me questions, or don't. And yes.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
This is going to be a fun hour. My favorite overall Pokemon, because I am an awesome death-dealing devastation machine with her, is my Sylveon. I actually have a shiny Sylveon. I know, she's not my competition girl, because my competition girl is all 4s. All of my EVs are female because I am a terrible person. You don't want to know how many EVs. I figured that all the EVs that you breed and then get rid of, since there is not an EV rescue in any given city, they all wind up like deep fried at some, because we know from the Magikarp that Pokemon are the main source of protein for this world. Like when every animal's a Pokemon, you eat Pokemon. And I'm like, I have bred 90 EVs, 85 of them were male, we're sorry. I am the Kentucky Fried Chicken of the EV world. But my favorite actual Pokemon is my Sylveon. Her name is Precious, because there is nothing better than facing some overamped, testosterone-ridden competitor who is convinced that they can drag Pokemon out of childishness, the brony of the Pokemon, and having Precious drop the moon on their ass. Like, what did Precious do? Well, first she killed all your dragons, and then she drank your soul. I'm also very fond of Pumpkaboo, which we're pretty sure is like, they made me a Pokemon. It's a ghost pumpkin. My bed at home, I have all 6 sizes of plush Pumpkaboo that have been released. So I sleep in a Pumpkaboo patch. And sometimes Thomas, my boy cat, will get in the middle of the Pumpkaboo patch, and I have pictures of this, of just Thomas's head sticking out of all the Pumpkaboo. It's great. Yes?
Which of Pokemon Sun and Moon starters is your favorite?
You know, I don't know, because I haven't met him yet. And also, I've always gone for the fire starter. I am a fire starter girl. I'm a fire starter girl. You know, if I can use it to set something on fire, that is what I want. But, and I cannot expound on this right now, you should come to Animal Stories if you want to, I recently had issues with a murder owl. So right now, Rowlet is very, very tempting to me, solely because it's an owl-type Pokemon. Like, do I want the owl? Do I want the fire cat? Do I want the owl? Do I want the fire cat? Do I want the wonder and glory that is I own 2 DSs and can trade starters with myself? That would be what I want. So I will have them all. All of them I shall have.
Are you aware that they now make Nanotlock Pokemon?
This is the Pokemon hour. This is the best conversation ever. I was, but I'm trying not to acquire a new physical collection. Because everything I own is in a moving truck right now, traveling from the San Francisco Bay Area to the Seattle metro area. And it turns out that when my mother lives with me, she does not pay rent on the house. Instead, she cleans the house because I am really, really bad at cleaning. I have a note from my psychiatrist saying I don't have to learn how to do dishes, which is a wonderful thing to hand to a 9-year-old. And we still act on that. So my mom cleans the house and does things like packing and physical stuff, and I let her live there and take care of her and feed her and put gas in the car, and it works out well for everyone. But I like to preface this, because otherwise it's like, yeah, my mom, I just make her clean my shit still. I'm still in 6th grade. So my mom has been dealing with packing everything we own, getting it secured. She used to be a professional mover. She's really, really good at this. Turns out she gets a little shirty when I come home during a big pack and move, and I'm like, hey Mom, I went to Toys R Us. Yeah, no. That gets me in trouble. I'm really glad San Diego Comic-Con this year is after the move. After. Also, I'm a spotlight guest at San Diego Comic-Con this year. And this is the most exciting thing that has ever happened, because it turns out that when you're a spotlight guest, you don't have lines. Now, I say that to some people, and they go, you could just walk into Hall H? I'm like, yes, I can walk into Hall H. Whatever. I can also walk to the front of the Hasbro line, because I don't have lines. And I said to them, when they said, do you want to, would you like to come and be a spotlight guest? We'd love to have you. I'm like, do y'all know I'm a toy collector? And they said, oh, we don't care. Are y'all sure about that? We don't care. My shopping list this year is horrifying. Horrifying. But we're doing pretty well. We've managed to secure a bunch of the stuff we need in pre-sale. Is that the sad face of there was something I desperately wanted at this year's San Diego? What?
All the miraculous Ladybug stuff is coming out this year
Is
at Comic-Con.
Is it con exclusive?
There's a lot of con exclusive stuff, and I'm flying.
So where do you live? Statewide.
Massachusetts.
What you should do is go to my website and email me. My PA is looking for keywords. So say we talked at CrossingsCon, and I can try and get stuff for you. I like shopping for toys, and the best thing about shopping for San Diego exclusives is I don't scalp. What I charge is what the toy cost me, plus tax, plus shipping if I have to ship it to you. San Diego exclusives, even if you're not scalping, you never lose money, ever. You know, I could email you from the con and go, I have all of your Miraculous Ladybug stuff. It's going to cost $97, because I have no idea what it costs. It's going to cost $97, here's my PayPal, and you could respond with, yeah, I just lost my job, and Godzilla ate my house, so I can't pay you. Okay, fine. I can walk back to the booth. Like, I brought this back, I don't want it. And you know what happens? They give me my money back. Or I go onto one of my forums and say, I have some Miraculous Ladybug shit, this is what it costs. Someone will appear instantly.
Oh, trust me, that fandom.
They will. Yeah. A couple of years ago, we were trying to get the see-through Klingon warbird that they did as a San Diego exclusive for a friend of ours. And Amy and I both managed to get through the booth line, so we both wound up with the Klingon warbird. And we're like, we don't need 2 of these. And Amy goes, can I be the one to return mine? I'm like, well, sure, I don't care. You know, he's going to pay me for it, whatever. And she walks back to the booth after they've all been sold out for 6 hours with the Klingon warbird and goes, I'd like to return this. And the man running the booth goes, why? Well, we wound up with an extra one. Do you understand what you have there? And she says, yes, karma. And returned it, and a 13-year-old grabbed it before they could even get it on. I'm like, yay! But yeah, no, seriously, email me. I do actually mean that. And yeah, we're having a good year. It's a good year. It's a terrible year because DC has been doing superhero dolls. Developing superhero dolls. And when they announced the line, the line includes Supergirl, Batgirl, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Bumblebee, and Katana. I feel like I'm missing someone. Wonder Woman and Katana. Guess who they did not make a Playline doll of? Katana.
What?
The only Asian character in the line is the one that you cannot walk into a store and buy. And she is this year's San Diego exclusive. I knew that I had a lot of Asian American friends with kids in the I Like Dolls age range. I did not know how many. I'm like, it's a $40 doll. We don't care. please. So we're bringing home like 20 katanas. I don't feel bad about this because if I weren't bringing them home, the scalpers would be taking them home, and these parents would not be faced with, can I pay $40 for a doll for my child? It would be, can I pay $120? Which is a much harder equation. But yes, San Diego toys, no more collections, but I have seen the Pokemon blocks. They're cool. Yes?
Sparrow Hill Road was kind of was based on Pretty Little Dead Girl.
Yes.
Completely different world, but nevertheless, I was wondering if you had any other cross-fertilizations of that sort of mind.
So I wrote a song. I write songs. This is not actually me trying to sell most of you anything, except for the part where it totally is. Some of you asked if there would be CDs for sale. I brought them. They're in the stack. So if you want a CD, catch me later. I have Stars Fall Home, Wicked Girls, and Creature Feature. So I wrote a song called Pretty Little Dead Girl, which is a 1950s girl group doo-wop song about a malicious hitchhiking ghost who hangs out on top of a mountain and kills people. Because hippies do. And when people asked me if this was based on something, I would always say that it was based on this girl named Rose Marshall, and it was the filthy libel version of her life. So I then wrote a book, which was the actual story of Rose Marshall, who really just wants a cheeseburger, a milkshake, and to be left the hell alone. She does not want to kill your boyfriend. She really wishes you'd stop blaming her for killing your boyfriend. Please leave me alone. And that sort of rolled on. I haven't got any other settings that have really pulled into the songs yet.
Alice, Mama Says.
Well, Mama Said was about Alice.
Right.
Alice was not about Mama Said.
True.
Pretty Little Dead Girl, the song came before the stories. Mama Said was written after I'd started writing them. There are various stories that kind of tie into like the Heelys and stuff, songs and such, but they didn't come at the same time. Writing music is fun. I like writing music. It's a different part of my brain than writing stories. I'm not good at writing music about my own books because I know things too well, and I get very like, this isn't a spoiler, that's a spoiler. That's a problem. That's a big problem. I'm currently working on adapting It by Stephen King for Broadway. I appreciate that y'all actually look pleased by that. I've had folks go, what, does the spider do jazz hands? I'm like, okay, well, you're not getting a ticket to our premiere. So, I've got a hand back there, and then I've got a hand over here.
So
I see you too, but
kind of back to the Pokemon.
Best day ever!
I'm typically bad at video games, so I haven't actually gotten past like blue and yellow. So if I want to get back into Pokemon, how would I do that?
Okay, Pokemon X, Y are amazing.
You also have to tell me what console. Because currently I have a Mac and an Xbox.
Well, you would need a Nintendo 3DS. The 3DS XL just recently came out, which means that the 3DS, which is the previous generation, is highly discounted. You can get a used one at most GameStops for $99. I know $99 is not pocket change. I also know that my DS frequently keeps me from murdering people when I have to be like in airports and stuff, so it can be a good investment. I would recommend getting an XL if you possibly can fit it into your budget, because some upcoming games are going to be XL only. Pokemon X and Y, which were the first games of our current generation, they have a new graphics engine. They have a not scripted by assholes engine. They allow trainer customization, and they introduced a whole new Pokemon class, Fairy type. Sun and Moon are going to be coming out this Thanksgiving, and they're going to be on that same engine, and they have brought back trainer customization, and they are not a sexist sack of eels, unlike Ruby and Sapphire, so I'm super excited. Ruby and Sapphire, they did not update the dialogue when they updated the game to bring it into the new engine. Every Pokemon game follows a certain pattern. I've heard people refer to them as RPG light, because you don't have to make a lot of choices. It's actually difficult not to win in Pokemon. And that's great for me, because I'm playing this when I'm on book tour. And when I'm on book tour, I don't want to worry that I'm going to get everyone I care about killed if I pick the wrong dagger. I just want to have my cute monsters beat each other to shit. Every Pokemon game begins with your 10-year-old main character being given their first Pokemon and leaving town. And before you leave town, you meet your rival, which is another 10-year-old of the opposite gender. Pokemon still acknowledges only 2 genders in people. Which is probably going to change, I think. Japan is doing pretty well with that in video games. Right now, you're either a boy or a girl. though you have some very non-gendered clothing options in the trainer customization boxes, which is great. If you choose that you are a boy Pokemon trainer in Ruby and Sapphire, when you go next door, you meet your female rival and she says, "Do you think someday I could travel with you and heal your Pokemon?" Complete with the hair twirling. If you choose that you're a girl trainer, when you go next door, your boy rival says, "I hoped you'd be a boy so you'd know something about Pokemon." I have taken great pleasure in kicking his ass up one side of the region and back down it again, but that doesn't change the part where the dialogue of the game itself is frequently a sexy sack of heels, and I do not enjoy that. So I'm very excited about Sun and Moon, because Ruby and Sapphire nearly caused me to spike my DS off the floor.
I don't know that I was, my friend had the third generation, and I watched him play through it, and I don't remember any of that shit, but okay, apparently it exists. That's a little disappointing.
It was dialogue from 1996 that they didn't update, that was dialogue from 2004 that they didn't update when they did the transport into the new engine. I think they just didn't think about it, which is disappointing but not crushing.
And now, my original question, the very start of it was, if humans didn't exist in the Pokemon universe and all, like, the Pokemon continued to evolve until one of them was intelligent, which Pokemon do you think would end up being the human analog?
Well, I think all Pokemon are already not all Pokemon, most Pokemon are already at human intelligence. I mean, we see that.
I meant which one would start building, like, hey, let's build cities and all this stuff, and hey, maybe, we can make Pokeballs with these sort of weird.
Deeply weird. I think that without humans in the way, that the Beedrill would eventually just like hive the shit out of everything. But they wouldn't make Pokeballs, they'd just sting you to death. Like, Beedrill are terrifying. They are 3.5-foot long bees. And that violates the square cube law, which is something my brother says I'm not allowed to do. So I have real issues with that. I think I should.
You as a writer, or you personally?
Me personally. I think that the square cube law should be the square cube suggestion. The square cube, everyone but Seanan. The square cube, now that we've gotten rid of it, things just explode for no reason. Isn't this a much better world? Yes.
Probably not a Pokemon.
Yay!
In every Heart of Doorway, you write about a halfway house for kids who went to magical lands, which is the best idea ever, and I love it so much.
Yes.
Are there any particular kids that you feel should have gone to a place like this, pre-existing characters?
I'm pretty sure that every character that has ever experienced a portal fantasy in literature should have had the opportunity to go to Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children, because instead they go home to parents who are like, "No, honey, you didn't travel to a magical world over the rainbow. You had a psychotic break and should be given electroshock therapy." And that's the entire plot of Return to Oz. Like in the Return to Oz movie, Dorothy's parents have literally had her committed for telling them the truth.
What? Yep.
Yeah.
I only read the book, so.
It's a great movie, but it's terrifying. I mean, the ramifications of traveling to an actual magical world and coming home is either you lie to everyone you love for the rest of your life, or everyone you love thinks that you're a liar, or everyone that you love thinks that you have had some kind of mental break, which none of these are good answers. The whole point of the school was to give these kids a place they could go where they could figure out what they wanted to do, and also how to hopefully, like, TNT open the door back to a place where people wouldn't be total dickbags to them all the time.
Okay. I first bought some of your books on iBooks, and I lost them when I bricked my iPhone. Where can I buy them again? Where can I buy the ebooks again, such that I won't have to worry about losing access to them if I brick my phone again?
Unfortunately, I have no idea. I don't read ebooks at all. They sell my books in ebook because I have publishers that take care of all of that, but I grew up really, really poor. Like, it comes up because it does affect the way I interact with the world as an adult. And one of the things that this has made me very aware of is because I can't afford physical books, and I don't mind storing physical books, I'm happier staying with physical books, because that means when I get rid of them, they enter the used book economy. That they go first to the half-price books where the $10 book costs $5. Okay, kids as poor as I was maybe can't get it, but another kid can. And then when that kid resells them, half price won't take them because they're in too bad of shape, so they go to Goodwill where they're $1, or they wind up at the yard sales for $0.25. And that's really important to me, knowing that books continue to trickle down and that I can contribute books, physical books, to that environment. I was the first person in my family to graduate high school. I was the first person in my family to go to college. I exist today because I had access to books. And when people say print is dead, what I hear is poor people do not deserve to read. This is not a judgment on anyone who prefers ebooks for any reason. There are cost reasons. There are storage reasons. There are physical disability reasons. I wish to hell ebooks had existed before my grandmother died, because she couldn't read for the last 2 years of her life. Her hands shook too hard. If we'd been able to give her a tablet so that she could just scroll, she wouldn't have lost her books. And that would be amazing. Sadly, though, this means I know nothing. I'm like, what format is that? It's the ELF format. This one is the dwarf format. You can tell because the file size is a little smaller. I have heard tell of a legendary format that is DRM free and swims through the seas, but I've never seen it. My recommendation would be talk to some other folks that read ebooks a lot.
She can talk to me.
You can talk to Mayra.
And the person
And
with the scary orange thing.
or to Holland, I think, and they may be able to help you out with figuring that out, because no one should lose their books.
No.
Also, I am never ever in favor of book piracy, because book piracy is bad for ever so many reasons. It harms the author, it harms the publisher, it harms everyone other than the author who's involved in the ecosystem of a book. However, if you lose your phone, if your house catches fire, which happened, oh God, if there's a flood and you need your books, you need your comfort reading, and I am part of your comfort reading, I don't care. I'm never going to get mad that you downloaded something you've already paid for. I wish there were a way to make the world so that you could always download what you've already paid for. So if that's the solution you have to go to, I absolutely believe you that you already bought them, and I'm not going to be mad at you or think less of you or throw wasps at you. I mean, I might throw wasps at you because I am me, but I'm not be in any way judging. Yes?
How do you throw wasps without them stinging your hands to death?
Oh, that's actually super easy. Wasps are great because wasps are not so smart. So what you do first is you get a trash can and you put it under a wasp's nest. And then you knock the wasp's nest down and you put the lid on the trash can. And then you shake the trash can vigorously. And the wasps are now so mad. They're so mad. They are the maddest things you have ever encountered. They're so mad. And then you can do so many things. There are so many things you can do with a trash can full of angry wasps.
You can put it in a trebuchet.
You can throw it. All you have to do is make sure that the lid is not overly tightly sealed and chuck it. The lid will come off halfway through, and the wasps don't know who threw them. Yay! You can also put the trash can on your least favorite person's doorstep with a sign that says, "Open me." Don't do this to someone who's allergic to bees and wasps, or you will be guilty of murder. And I mean, that's okay if that's what you're into, but you'll probably have left fingerprints on the trash can during the shaking phase. So, you know, also, someone may have seen you walking down the street with your like, I have a trash can full of wasps. This is amazing. I will never be able to use wasps as a murder weapon because I am not able to resist telling people what's in the jar. Like, do you know what's in this? Do you know? 800 paper wasps! You want to see? Like, what do you want to see about something that involves the words 800 paper wasps? The answer is no. Just roll on no. Yes?
So I just want to say thank you as someone who lost her job partially because of internet